Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. In the latest promo for Young and the Restless, old feelings are stirred up and questions surrounding Phyllis and Sharon's kidnapping continue to mount. Yet none of them are aware the kidnapper is among them. But one person has unknowingly stumbled on the truth. Damien was convinced to stick around Genoa City and began mending fences with his mother. Of course, his interest in Lily was a bonus reason not to leave town. Nate also convinced Amy to see his friend for another opinion regarding her prognosis. Next week, Nate lets Damien into his apartment and asks, "Hey, what's going on?" Damien replies, "You tell me. Is it true? Has my mom been admitted to a hospital in Chicago? Has Amy taken a turn for the worse? Or might that second opinion reveal something new?" Nick and Billy received cryptic messages, which led them, along with Chance, to the building in which Sharon and Phyllis were being held captive. And they got there just in time to save the women as gas began filling their room. Next week, after the ordeal they've been through, Sharon naturally has some questions for Nick. She wants him to be honest with her about his feelings. "Do you ever think about us getting back together?" What will his answer be? Meanwhile, Summer asks Phyllis, "So the kidnapper wanted you to be found?" Phyllis says, "Yeah. Whoever did it is a total whack job." Summer frets. "This person hasn't been caught yet. That means that you're still in danger." They have no idea the danger is closer than they realize. Finally, Traci, newly engaged to Alan, ended up trying to silence his cell phone when it kept going off, only to see a message about a security breach and that protocols had been enacted. She has no idea that Alan is the kidnapper, but she might be about to find out. In the final moments of the promo, Alan tells Traci, "I say we do the town big. I want to show the woman I love." He stops short when he sees her holding his cell phone. "What are you doing?" he asks. Will Alan be able to talk himself out of this one? Heck, is Alan really Alan? Or is he his twin, Martin? Traci Walker always trusted her instincts. They had kept her safe for 27 years. But as she stepped into her apartment that night, the weight of an unshakable dread settled in her stomach. Something was off. She had noticed it earlier. An unfamiliar black sedan parked 2 doors down from her building. The way the streetlight cast eerie shadows through the tinted windows. She told herself she was being paranoid. But now, as she shut the door behind her and turned the deadbolt, she couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't alone. The message had arrived that morning. No number. Just 2 words. "You're next." Traci had nearly dropped her phone when she read it. It wasn't the first time she had received a message like this. But this one was different. It felt deliberate. The air around her grew heavy with suffocating fear. The name Alan Pierce hadn't been spoken in nearly a year, but she never stopped thinking about him. The man who had haunted her nightmares. A year ago, Alan had been arrested for the brutal murder of 2 women, Lisa Porter and Danielle Reeves. Both had eerily similar profiles. Young, ambitious, blonde, living alone. Like Traci. The police had only caught him because of Traci's anonymous tip. She had seen him in an alley one night, just standing there, watching Lisa's apartment. Something about him had sent a chill down her spine. She had reported it, and that tip had led them straight to Alan's hidden stash of souvenirs. Lockets of hair, earrings, photos. The proof they needed to put him behind bars. 3 days ago, Alan escaped from prison, and now Traci knew he was coming for her. She pulled the curtains tight and checked the locks again. Her phone buzzed, making her jump. A text from her best friend. "Monica. Did you hear? Alan Pierce escaped. They think he's still in the city." Traci swallowed hard, fingers shaking as she typed. "Traci, you don't think he remembers you, right? I mean, you were anonymous." That was what she had wanted to believe. But the message she received said otherwise. The police wouldn't be able to help unless she had real proof he was after her. A text message from an unknown number wasn't enough. And even if they believed her, what could they do? She knew how men like Alan worked. He had spent months studying his victims, learning their routines, waiting for the perfect moment. She grabbed her purse, stuffed her essentials inside, and headed toward the door. If Alan was watching, she couldn't let him think she was scared. She had to be unpredictable. She had to think like him. She stepped into the night, the autumn air crisp against her skin. The black sedan was still there. Her heart pounded as she forced herself to walk past it, casually glancing at the tinted windows. No movement. Maybe she was imagining things. Then, as she turned the corner, she saw him. He was across the street, half hidden under the dim glow of a flickering street lamp. His dark eyes locked onto hers, and in that instant, she knew. He had been waiting for her. Traci didn't run. She forced herself to keep walking, pulse hammering in her ears. Her apartment wasn't safe anymore. She needed a plan. She ducked into the nearest coffee shop, hoping for safety in the crowded space. But as she ordered a tea with trembling fingers, she saw Alan through the glass window. He hadn't followed her inside. He was just watching. Ice filled her veins. She turned, scanning the cafe. He wasn't inside. She didn't reply. Instead, she typed a message to Monica. "He's here." But Traci already knew the police wouldn't get there in time. She had to handle this herself. The next hour was a blur. She left the cafe and took a winding, unpredictable route through the city, weaving through back alleys, cutting through parking lots. At one point, she thought she had lost him. But then, in the reflection of a shop window, she saw him again. Alan was enjoying this. He was toying with her, like a predator playing with its prey. Traci's mind raced. What did he want? To kill her like the others? Or was this about revenge? She had helped put him away. Maybe that made her different. Maybe he wanted her to suffer first. She wouldn't give him that chance. Traci ducked into an underground parking garage. Pressing herself against the cold concrete pillar, she waited, listening. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. He was here. Traci's breath came fast and shallow. She needed a weapon. Her hand tightened around the keys in her pocket, slipping one between her fingers like a makeshift knife. It wasn't much, but it was something. Then silence. Had she imagined the footsteps? A hand clamped over her mouth. She screamed, thrashing wildly, but he was strong. His grip tightened around her waist, pulling her back into the shadows. "Sha," Alan whispered, his breath hot against her ear. "You've been so hard to find, Traci." She bit down on his hand, hard. Alan cursed, loosening his grip just enough for her to spin around and drive her knee into his stomach. He staggered back, and she took her chance. Traci ran. She didn't look back. She burst out of the garage and into the street, nearly colliding with a pair of headlights. A car screeched to a stop. "Traci!" "Monica!" She threw open the passenger door. "Get in!" Traci didn't hesitate. She dove inside, slamming the door just as Alan emerged from the garage, his face twisted with rage. Monica floored the gas pedal. The tires screeched, the city lights blurring past as they sped away. Traci's hand shook, her whole body trembled, but she was alive. For now, the police arrived within minutes. Traci gave her statement, every detail about Alan's appearance and movements. But by the time they searched the garage, he was gone. They promised to protect her. Extra patrols. A direct line to a detective. But Traci knew better. Alan was out there, and as long as he was free, she would never be safe. That night, she lay awake in Monica's guest room, staring at the ceiling. Her phone vibrated. A single message. Traci's blood turned to ice. She wasn't just another victim. She was the one that got away. And Alan wouldn't stop until he fixed that.